All right, welcome to my FX Buddies, the podcast. Uh, Sorry, I'm looking at the computer and I shouldn't be. Okay, so today is July 14th. July 14th's over, and I don't know, there was supposed to be some big something or another, that a back wall, which I didn't even hear any of that until today. Um, but um Do you see? Okay, wait. Before I get into that, it is the 14th of July. I want to say thank you for support, for a thumbs up. At 11 minutes and 11 seconds, a little icon is going to come on. If you're watching on YouTube, it comes on. I think it's the My FX Buddies hat, as a matter of fact. That if I ever design a hat, that's the hat that I would design. It comes up if you tap it, touch it, whatever. You one click, you're subscribed, but then you have to hit some bell or something. Anyway, so I just thank you for people who do take that extra effort to do that. All right. Other places that I post under my FX Buddies. That's Rumble. Sometimes I keep forgetting Rumble, but Spotify.com. I post every day. Yeah, but anyway, okay, so there's that. All right, there's a lot of articles today, so I'm definitely not gonna cover them, but they're there for people who like other things, right? Other topics than what I mostly cover. I mostly cover the money, right? Because that's what we have to look at. The information that Iraq puts in the articles, that's what I look at. I don't have boots on the ground. I don't have a team. It's just me. And we'll see today why I'm not crazy. I don't ride the roller coaster, right? Okay, so I think that's it. Um, then there's things that uh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Let's start with so I put the money articles first. And there's some pretty good. So here we all know who he is, right? Just kidding. But that is Mohammed Saleh. He is the Prime Minister's advisor, financial advisor to the Prime Minister. So he says the government is proceeding with banking structural reforms without interruption. So, and we're going to see that word again, without interruption, in another article. And so, yeah, I put big changes in Iraq, banking reforms, and economic diversification explained. So, oh, look how tiny that is. All right. He's saying the reform policy has not deviated from the recommendations of the IMF, but I think they have. But anyway, while explaining that the government seeks to transform the rentier economy into a diversified, productive economy. So this is the new term. They used to say open market because, that's what we are. That's what other countries. You know what? I'm not going to speak on other countries because I don't know. But capitalism is an open market, right? Supposedly. Rentier economy, for those of you who still don't understand what that means, it's an economy that gets most of their income from one source, which most of those countries over there, their money comes from oil. And it was promised to them in holy books, right? That they would always be prosperous because of a gift to them, right? So that to tell these countries, well, you have to find another way to make income is almost crazy, in my opinion. But they do have other ways. Agriculture, um, Sudani was saying by 2026, they're going to be exporting something, liquid gas or something. So, yeah, all right. But here they talk about without creating parallel productivity in the real economy, which are facts that put pressure on the growth paths of the rentier economy. It can be said that Iraq possesses promising economic components if they are employed within a realistic and gradual development vision. And they do have a realistic vision, they're just being held down. So, diversified productive economy means making money from different sources. So, it looks long, but it's really not. It's really not a long article. It just looks long. So here's another one. Between IMF recommendations and Baghdad's ambitions, Iraq plans a new economy. So same article, right? Excuse me. Same person, Mohammed Saleh, just a little different. And this is what they do. They chop it up, focus on different parts of the long article or the interview. And so this person, whoever wrote this one, they wanted to focus on, despite the significant financial exposure to oil revenues, which has made the financing of public spending, especially investment, dependent on oil price fluctuations and the oil asset cycle, as well as the pressure of employment in the government sector, which has absorbed the state's resources without creating parallel productivity in the real economy. And I love when they say things like that because there's a fake economy. What? Yeah, kind of like two books, right? So, yeah. All right. Now, this for the third consecutive month, the Central Bank of Iraq saw a significant decline in dollar sales. I don't know why this surprises them. They're not supposed to be using dollars, so the sale of dollars should shrink. Plus, they do business in other currencies, right? But, that's they put it out there, and there some of you like to read these numbers and stuff, so I have provided that. Oh, yes. So wherever you are enjoying this content and you want to get to the blog, the free blog, you don't even have to put your email address in, and the articles are there. Now, I don't have a community. This is my commentary here, free. So yeah, if you want, you have to go somewhere else for that. But if you're a self-led person who can read, follow along with the video, then this is for you. But so wherever you're watching, look for a prompt of info, intro, description, more, something of that nature. Tap on that, another box opens, and that's where the link to the blog is, because the blog is at myfxbuddies.blogspot.com, but that's a lot to remember or type in. So yeah, so I provide the link, which makes it easier for you to get there. All right. Here is, I think I just blurted this out, but here's the actual article. The Ministry of Labor says you need to invest in Iraqi talent. Don't just bring your people here to work. You need to hire Iraqis, which is good because they need training and stuff. Here's my favorite. No, he's not my favorite, but Samir al-Nasari. He reminds me of my favorite uncle. Bank mergers are the best solution for banking reform. And I'm going to add for those 35 banks, which, 2 weeks from now, it may be 40 banks, right? But for now, it went from 30 to 35 banks. And that is, the CBI already has a solution. If they didn't want to get on board with the new system, what do they call it? Remittance, something, something, right? And everything is scrutinized by an audit company. If they don't want to go through that, then they have to merge or dissolve. So yeah, but so for several years, I'm reading here if you're following along, the Iraqi banking sector, both public and private, has been suffering from worsening and expanding problems. These problems have negatively impacted financing and investment activity, weakening its ability to stimulate the country's economic cycle and declining contribution to the gross domestic product, or GDP, and sustainable development. This has had clear repercussions on the overall economy. This has made it urgent to find effective and rapid solutions and remedies. And there's already a remedy, right? So that is kind of a long article, but some people will read it. Okay, so this isn't even the article. Let's see. So I had said nothing was going to happen today because the court case has been kicked. Can I kick it? Yes, they did. Did they kick it? Yes, they did. They kicked it to July 28th. I think one is July 21st and the other is the 28th. Now, can that change? It certainly can. And I'm going to tell you why. But, you know, I told you, plan on being here at the very least until the end of summer, right? Okay, so there's your article. And for those of you who, that's why, great, go listen to your gurus, but I want stuff in writing. From what you guys tell me, there was a guru who said the cases have been thrown out. You'll wake up tomorrow and everything will be handled, right? And we woke up today and there's still court cases. And yeah, okay, so let's see. Parliamentary Oil Committee, Iraq is exposed to sanctions. Okay, so I guess they're being threatened probably by our administration, the U.S. administration. If you don't hurry up and prove to me that you're not smuggling oil still to the neighbor, I'm going to sanction oil entities and companies. See, Iraq is threatened by the U.S. Okay, so there that is. Now, this happened today, and it's very suspicious to me. So there was a parliament session. It still didn't have any pertinent files for what we're looking at, right? The House Speaker was late. Mashadani, well, he was there, he left, and he came back. And then he came back and he was disruptive and adjourned the session. Do you see this right here? The session was adjourned upon his arrival. So I think he left. He went to go talk to someone, and they told him, sorry, we're not ready to move forward, so you're going to have to, do something to interrupt today's session. Because why else would he leave? After, over the weekend, they had a meeting basically shunning the members of parliament, saying if you don't come in, you might as well be asleep. I didn't go over that because we didn't have time to go over that. But, and they're telling them again, if you don't show up, we're going to put your name in the paper. And they did do that. They've been doing that, putting their name in the paper and docking them $1 million dinar. But, that's not really a lot. So, the oil talks, there was lots of oil meetings. They seem to have gone well. But that special group, they gave their report. That report is going to be given to the Council of Ministers tomorrow, Tuesday, because that's their regular day to meet. Maybe they'll vote on that. Maybe they won't. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. And then there's going to be a meeting Tuesday night. So that's kind of a delay. Enough of a delay where whoever has the power to tell Mashadani, hold up, pump the brakes, we're not ready to move forward. So now there's a letter. Is this the one with the letter? Yep. A group of the members of parliament are calling for Mashadani's dismissal because he held up today's session. So something's going on there, and that's what I think it is. Oil companies in the Kurdistan region announced their readiness to resume exports to Turkey. I know that seems like a same article, but it's a different one. So if you want to read that. Here, this guy, he is something in Turkey. The President of the Republic praises the agreement between Turkey and the Kurdish Workers' Party. Yeah, whatever. All right. Now, this is interesting. So, this is Daddy Barzani. He basically runs the country, even though you won't find that in writing. This is Pavel or Babel. He goes by two names. Talabani, the second powerful. See, the two ruling parties. So they had a meeting. Of course, that handshake is just for show, right? That's a money shot, as they call it. But it seems to have went well. All right. Look at Switzerland wants to invest in Karbala. Just Karbala. Remember, Karbala is the holy city that all the people come to for their various religious festivals. That's not the right word, but so yeah. They want to have twinning projects. So that's interesting. Okay, here's that article, different version about the dollar decreasing, the dollar sales decreasing. Here is, so this is the oil, I believe he's the oil minister. Parliamentary is hosting. Yeah, see, I don't know how to say his name. Well, I can say Abdul. But this is another one of the meetings, right, that they talked. So look at this. Kurdistan secures, this is Kurdistan. Kurdistan secures $1.25 billion in investment across 79 projects in the first half of 2025. So that is separate from Baghdad, right? And look at that. That's a lovely picture, isn't it? 79 projects approved in just 6 months. But again, that's Kurdistan. And there's the dollar. The money's broken out. The projects are there if you'd like to read that. Sadani, now there's a lot about Sadani speaking. What's this one? Sadani reveals the secrets of the region in Iraq after October 7th. You know that day, right? That fateful day. So yeah, so we're not going to talk about that. But if you want, he was interviewed and he said some things. Not as bold as the last ones. Okay. Oh, here's my one commercial for me. Thank you. So this is my PayPal. This Buy Me a Coffee will be a link, a live link when this is out of preview status. And Cash App is always live. $, all lowercase, Tish Wash. T as in Tom, I, S as in Sam, H, WASH. Big or small, I appreciate it all. All right. So here's one thing he said. Sadani says Washington is committed to Iraq's neutrality, and our relations with Syria are moving toward a strategic partnership. That is a funny. There's an article, but we don't have time to get in it, so I'm just going to talk about it. So remember yesterday, people were making it, not people, it was in the news Syria put a list out of uh, currencies, and Iraq was not on it. Well, guess what? There's an article today saying Syria will not normalize with Iraq. So something has happened there. I mean, I know Sadani didn't want to accept him to begin with, but once whoever told him, deal with him, that's who's the next president, the interim president is. You have to deal with him. Sadani was on board, and he even tried to get other countries to work with him, but something has happened. There's a rift in that relationship. I don't know what. I don't even care to know. But there's an issue. All right. So we'll keep going, and we're going, and we're going. That is a really long article. Okay, here, missing numbers and no agreement. Who is obstructing the budget schedules? I don't think it's being obstructed. It's just, it's not ready to be shown, right? So here, see this 400,000 barrels of oil. All these numbers are all the same. Oh, there was one new thing. Security forces block planned salary. Okay, so the people were going to demonstrate again, and they went to wherever they go, and they were met with a heavy security presence. And they said, you don't have the proper permit, so you cannot demonstrate. And I'm glad that they did that because I don't want another innocent person to be taken out. All right, so this is happening tonight. This happened tonight. This is Body's house. And look who's there. Maliki. This is Maliki. This is Amiri. Oh, wait. This is Maliki. This is Amiri. This is Kazali. They're all Iranian backed. I don't know this guy's name, but this might even be Arachi or something like that. Not sure who that is. Here's Hakeem. I don't like Hakeem. Here's Abadi. Here's Sudani. This is the deputy House Speaker. I don't know that guy or that guy. But so this is the power source over Parliament, and the majority of them are Iranian backed. But Sadani said, what? Iraq is not ruled by Iran. So they had a meeting to, who knows what they really talked about. I'm sure the truth is not in this article, but they do want to expedite the laws, the important laws that will what? The citizens. I just saw it. Strengthen Iraqi decision making in a way that serves the country's supreme interest. And particularly those related to citizens' interests and state stability. Here, investment in Iraq is at its best, exceeding $100 billion. Who does that sound like? From Austin Powers, one of those movies. In 2 years. And guess who did that? I did that. That money came in under me, right? He could brag about that. He doesn't. He's very slick about how he, at least, in the articles, because I don't understand Arabic, but he's a very intelligent man. I'm sure he knows what he's doing. And he has a very slick way of talking about what he's done in his tenure so far. So if you want to read that's a good article. That's a really good one to read. He talks about Iraq first, and the only thing that he doesn't talk about is the rate and the purchasing power, but how their banking is, in the international thing. Yeah, so lots of reading, lots of reading. Here's another article, but with a different spin. Declining central bank sales raise questions. Is it a recession or a market shift? Come on now. We know the answer to that. It's a technology shift. So here's another article. Let's see, we're almost done. Here's another article about the courts. Yeah. So they did do it until July 28th. Oh, so what I was saying, let me find, oh, you know what? Forget, oh, here, that's double. I think we're done. Baghdad pledges here, non-interference. Look at that. That's the second time they've used non-interference. So they're admitting someone's been interfering with things. So, and this is the first time I recall seeing them admitting. So they're on the cusp of resumption. And here's where I got, there will be a meeting Tuesday night. The person that's speaking is speaking on condition of anonymity, of course. And guarantees have been given that the consulting company that estimates the cost of oil production and transportation will not make changes to the contracts during its work period. Yeah, I'd say that's a good thing to say you won't do. Okay, so that's it. Those are the articles I wanted to cover. Now, let's see. Here's another thing Sundani said. U.S. and their neighbor deal possible. Look at this. 50-day ultimatum. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. So and there's some people who believe we are waiting on a resolution for the the original aggressive maneuver, conflict, that also can be used with a 3-letter word, then 50 days. But guess what? That puts us at the end of summer, which is where I am, right? So, okay. What else? Okay. Now, remember, you know what? Here, I think. So remember yesterday, if you watched yesterday's episode of my FX Buddies, I talked about The Economist. Dang it! I keep hitting this and it keeps going. The Economist is a magazine. If you don't know, I think everyone knows, right? Well, anyway, it's, dang it. I just did something I shouldn't have done. Okay, we're good. The, it's a globalist magazine, possibly now may even be owned by China. And they are trying to tell us that Iran's grip on Iraq weakens. And then remember I said, I'm going to show you guys this. Oh, let's see. Can I get it? Well, it's enough. It's enough. So every year, the cover of the magazine has hidden messages. So let's see. Can I make this? Okay. So look what they have around the U.S. president. Shoot. I'm not going to be able to do it. Dang it. Well, this is in YouTube, but what they have around the U.S. president is a bunch of dollar signs. So it's very interesting if you've never looked at these, never seen these, and this is why a lot of people say the world is a stage. All of this stuff is planned, because if you look at the cover and then you listen to, some of these people are really good. And I even think they may pick and choose people and say, here, put a video out and say this and that and the other. But yeah, so you just go to YouTube and you can see what I put, 2025 Economist magazine cover, and see their thoughts on them. Look, this one's really short, 5 minutes, but I would go with this one, 21 minutes. And then enough time has gone by where we can see if they've hit any of the points. But a lot of this is pre-written, in my opinion, and that's why I say things can happen to change if they wanted to, they being the power brokers. So if everything that they're working on gets set the way they want it, magically some space will open and those court cases will get moved up to, say, the 18th or the 20th, right? And then they'll be done if they even need to do that, right? So don't get so caught up on I love the prophecies. You guys know who I listen to faithfully. I love listening and hoping that what they're believing is going to happen. I would love to be in the bank tomorrow. Trust me. I would love to be in the bank tomorrow. But at the same time, I read these articles and I don't see this happening anytime soon. I look at Forex, right? And so I share all these things with you guys, hoping that you will have balance. I know you're going to believe what you're going to believe. You're going to listen to everyone, but try to have balance. Stay grounded. Keep listening to me, of course. Keep hitting the thumbs up and making the lovely and encouraging comments that you make. All right. So thanks for watching. I'm sure I'll post again tomorrow, pretty much probably around this time. So accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals and pay all your bills. Yeah. Enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon, whatever time frame you are indulging in this content. And until next time.